Desperation makes us do strange things as humans, and especially if you're a bad human. When you get desperate, you do even crazier stuff. And well, what does that have to do with anything, Trent? Surely Donald Trump hasn't done anything desperate yet. Yeah, okay, let's talk. Welcome back to Trent Takes On 2.0. I'm the Trent from the title of the show. How are you? How are you? Are you taking a step back and asking yourself how you're doing every once in a while? You should do that. You should absolutely ask yourself how you're doing. You should ask yourself, do I need to take a little mental health moment? Several times a day, if necessary. It is a crazy world. Crazy world. I am... I keep up with the news, and that means I am constantly blown away by how many political extinction level scandals roll off of Donald Trump they don't happen. It is mind-blowing how many horrifying things this administration has gotten away with in the last however many days. It's been 380 odd days. Are you serious? That's all it's been? It hasn't even been that bad. I think this is day 379 or something like that. Anyway. Today the 4th? 380. 379. I don't know. Yeah, God, it literally is. It's just one thing after another. That movie, One Battle After Another, which I haven't seen yet, but apparently is available right now, and I haven't watched it. I guess I should get around to that, huh? It's man. It's the apt title for these days, isn't it? I mean, between cryptocurrency being available to launder money to anyone, anywhere, anytime. I mean, hello. It's almost like they designed it to do that. For the record, cryptocurrency is just a scam anyway. Anyone who tells you otherwise has money in it. It can't be a scam. I'm invested. It's a scam, my friend. All of it. You're putting your money into something that isn't backed by literally anything. And the United States dollar is based on the trust and faith in the United States government and the prosperity of this country. So really, I don't know how much that's worth anymore either. So kind of our currency is becoming a scam too. Thanks, Donnie. We're in a bad way. And the scandals just keep on coming. The Epstein files, they dropped another 3 million. I can't even get into the Epstein files. I can't. How do they screw this up so bad? How do they screw this up so bad? I mean, we've seen redactions like the copy of an ID, of a license, driver's license of one of the victims was a part of the Epstein files, and they redacted the address, but they left the name in the photo. Are we really? Is this where we are? You redacted the wrong stuff, and you didn't. You redacted not enough stuff. They published photos of nude girls in the Epstein files when they dropped them onto their website. Seriously. That literally happened. They exposed the names of upwards of, I think the number I heard was 23. But multiple victims, addresses, likenesses, full names have been just dropped out. The one thing they were supposed to be protecting against. Dropping it. All out there. Turns out Elon Musk was really chummy with Mr. Epstein. Surprise. Turns out Melinda Gates divorced Bill because of his running around in these circles. That's what she said on an interview. I'm just saying that I saw the footage of it. I was like, whoa, that's crazy. You got Todd Blanche, the assistant deputy. He is the deputy attorney general of the United States, number 2 at the DOJ, going on TV saying, partying with Mr. Epstein is not a crime. What? If you're at a party where a bunch of illegal shit's going on and you witness it and you don't do anything about it, I think that might be a crime. I think it's definitely worth talking about. And we know he did a bunch of illegal shit. If only there were someone we could talk to about it, Ghislaine Maxwell. Oh boy. Who the same guy, Todd Blanche, gave preferential treatment, got her transferred to Club Fed in Texas, and got her a puppy to play with. Isn't that nice? Instead of protecting the victims, this Department of Justice is protecting the people who committed the crimes, the criminals, the abusers. Yeah, that's really happening. I can't even get into the Epstein files because it's so gross and it's so heavy, and there's so much of it. I do want to shout out, I don't usually do this, I want to shout out a specific representative, House Representative Robert Garcia, who represents the Long Beach area. Now he's got part of Seal Beach. I saw him do an event at Leisure World, which is a retirement home in Seal Beach. Leisure World. I always dreamed of retiring to Leisure World. I mean, come on, it's called Leisure World. Who wouldn't want to retire there? But Robert Garcia is the Democratic oversight ranking member. Like, we're so close to a House majority, he would become the chairman of the oversight committee, which oh my God, never has a Congress needed to be in the hands of the opposition party more than this Congress. Every time I listen to Speaker of the House Mike Johnson speak, I am almost driven to absolute madness. He gaslights us. Today he corrected the Pope on the Bible. So, yeah, the Pope. I know more about the Bible than you, Pope. What? Jeez. This is the stupidest possible timeline. It's the darkest and the stupidest. It's the darkest because it's the stupidest timeline. Everybody that lashes themselves to this sinking ship is a fool. And how desperate is he? How desperate is he? That was what I wanted to talk about desperation today. Desperation makes us do crazy things. They raided the Fulton County Elections Office, and with the FBI and Director of National Intelligence, who has no law enforcement role in the United States whatsoever in any way, shape, or form, Tulsi Gabbard, was there with the FBI raiding the Fulton County Elections Office to take 700 boxes of ballots. It's a pretext to claim that there was some sort of shenanigans there during the 2020 election so that they can, and Donald Trump has said this many times, and he always gives away the game, okay? I want to stop for just 1 second. I want to get back to this. Put a pin in the Fulton County stealing of the ballots thing. Donald Trump is the stupidest man ever to come close to that seat of power. The stupidest man to hold this much power ever. He is such a moron. He can't answer a straightforward question. He's also guilty of a ton of crimes, and he knows it. So he's always deflecting or projecting. One of those two is everything that comes out of his mouth. But if you sit and listen to this guy, Grampy needs to go to a place where there's some special help for him, because he is not all there, and he was stupid as hell to begin with. He's stupid, he's mean, and he's really, really angry. And he's a crazy narcissist. If you just listen to this idiot speak, he can't put 3 sentences together. His vocabulary is tiny, smaller than his hands. You know what I'm saying? This guy's awful, and he's sick. He's sick. Rumor has it he shat himself during a White House press event where he was at behind the Oval Office desk, and they suddenly ushered everybody out of the room, and people who were in the room were like, it was pretty obvious Donald Trump shat himself. He was sitting at his desk, and he just pooed his pants. He reeks. General consensus is he just stinks like poo. What a lovely person in charge of our country. Good choices, Merca. Anyway, this disgusting, slovenly idiot, to be fair, he probably just can't take care of himself anymore. And anyway, all the more reason, remove him from power, make him go away, and we'll just move on. That would be nice. That would probably be the best thing for everybody involved. Anyway, they've come up with this pretense. Election irregularity. Election integrity. They keep claiming that illegal people are voting. It's not happening. It never has. There are statutes that prohibit it already on the books. The penalties are huge. And we have never seen, one more time, never seen voter fraud on a scale that could tip an election. A federal election. I mean, I'm sure local elections where there's like 10, 15 ballots, but it's a lot easier to catch in those situations, isn't it? Yeah. Anyway, I digress. I want to get what he's talking about. What disgusting Mad King Donnie is talking about is, quote unquote, federalizing elections. You're not allowed to federalize elections, full stop. It's in the Constitution. It is bold print, black and white. It is not. The states administer elections. Full stop. Full effing stop. The feds cannot step in and run your state elections. Because believe me, states have been fucking around with elections for a long time, and every time I've seen it, it's been on the Republican side. Let's not talk about Ohio in 2004. Let's not talk about Florida in 2000. Don't get me started on who is fucking around with elections, because it's always Republicans. Always. And this is just another projection. And what he's talking about is taking over elections in places that he claims they're a fraud, which is places that he loses. Well, why the hell would you want to take over places where you lose? Oh. And the reason that the whole thing is stupid, just stupid, is that the people behind him, these congressmen and women who stayed in power and outperformed him in 2000 when he was on the ballot, because it turns out he was a really shitty president the first time around. He was lucky to get the job to begin with. Then he fucked it up and they voted for the other guy. And then people memory hold the entirety of COVID and blamed all the high prices on the president, which is hilarious because the president really can't do anything to change the way prices work in the United States because it's a capitalist system. You can try. You can sometimes mitigate the damage. But the corporations set the prices that they sell their goods and services for. That's how it works. And so when Donald Trump said, I will lower prices on day one, over and over and over and over and over again, he convinced enough people that he was telling the truth, which of course he was not. that he won this 2024 election in a squeaker because A, people forgot how bad he was the first time around, and B, people believed his bullshit. And C, the Democrats screwed up their end of it. Joe Biden was unfit to run for a second term. He didn't agree until the 11th hour, and he gave his vice president a runway of 107 days to get across the line. So here's my problem. Donald Trump keeps claiming the 2020 election was rigged. It was stolen. But a lot of Republicans outperformed him. So was it only rigged in your part of the election? Huh? Because that would be the dumbest rigging ever. If I'm going to go ahead and rig an election, I'm not doing it just for the presidency. I'm doing it up and down the ballot so it doesn't look so obvious. Duh. The whole thing is stupid. They can't prove any of it. They've been trying for 6 years to prove it. 5 years. And they don't have a shred of evidence. So they're just going on, well, this is the way we believe it. I had to hear Mike Johnson say, well, we had people ahead, and then by the end of the night, they had lost. Yeah. What are you getting at? Different areas vote at different saturation levels, and the heavier saturation levels, read urban areas where the heavier part of the vote is, take longer to tabulate because there's more of the vote. So, of course, Republicans have a tendency to rack up early leads in rural areas where there's little vote and it's easy to count. And then that lead diminishes as you count the urban areas with the larger amounts of vote that are more predominantly Democrat. Because let me tell you something about voting in urban areas. It's not easy. It's a lot of people. And a lot of those urban areas vote heavily Democrat. Do you know why they vote heavily Democratic Party? Because they understand how important it is to work with your neighbors. And how it's not just about you, it's about all of us. I grew up in rural America. I know the mindset. It's all about them. It's all about me. Me, 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 me. Republicans are the biggest bunch of it's about me people you will ever meet. Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. And they also believe everything's a zero-sum game. I can't have opportunity because those people over there are getting opportunity. Well, that's not the way it works, but okay. I can't have my freedom of speech because those people over there have freedom of speech and they keep me from having mine. No, that's not how it works at all. It's infuriating. And now they want the federal government, the Trump regime, the fascist regime, the authoritarian takeover of this country wants to start running elections. And if that doesn't chill you to your absolute core, I don't know what will. I've been talking mostly about immigration enforcement over the last couple of weeks because that's been the headline. And that's still a headline. We haven't even seen the worst of the atrocities, and they're about to ramp it up because they just got a whole bunch of money to buy new warehouses to turn into detention centers. Their intent is to ramp it up, in spite of the fact that the people that they already have on payroll are unqualified, undertrained, racist morons who are taking out their hatred on anyone who is against them. And that's the state of immigration enforcement in this country. It's a disaster. The World Cup starts in 127 days, and people from all over the world are going to come to this country and discover our immigration enforcement is a Gestapo unit. Yeah. Tourism in this country is down upwards of 30% because we treat foreigners like trash. And when I say we, I mean the feds. I don't mean like we the people. We the people are trying to do the right thing right now. When you look at the poll numbers, everybody's caught on to him. His cultists are always going to cult. The cultists are going to cult. That's been my saying for whatever it is, 10 years now. Trump has a cult. He has a cult of personality that believes every bullshit lie that he spews. Every excuse that he kicks out. Every projection. Every deflection. They buy it all. They literally buy it all on NFTs and tchotchkes and hats and stupid t-shirts made in China. He sells you his grift all the time. They buy his meme coin. They buy his cryptocurrency. They'll buy anything because they're a cult. Think about it. And they're invested in him. Without him, their lives mean nothing anymore. That's what a cult of personality is. Sad. I miss the days when I got to wake up every day and just like go about my day. I got to try and work on a novel and do some woodwork in my garage and move some stuff around because this is what you do when you're like losing your mind a little bit. I'm losing my mind. I'm kind of stir crazy. I don't know what to do. Now I have to pay attention to what goes on in the world, and it's fucking terrifying. And it sucks. I live in a constant state of anxiety, just like all of you, I'm sure. And probably listening to me probably doesn't help you at all. And I'm sorry about that. I do, however, feel good when I hear the anxiety and pain of others going through the same thing I am, because I like to know that I'm not alone and that we're all working in some way to overcome it. And that's what this pod has really become about. This is an authoritarian takeover of our country. This is a change in the way America works. That's what they're trying to do. That's the endeavor. And now they've focused on the upcoming midterm elections. And why? Because they are positive now. Positive. I can say that one more time. Positive. That they are going to get their asses handed to them if this is a free and fair election. So they're going to go out of their way to make certain that it isn't free and fair. Steve Bannon, hobo and dude who's all over the late Epstein files, we're talking after he's been convicted and served his bullshit sentence and is back in trouble, Steve Bannon. Former chief political advisor to the Mad King in the first era. And he still is. Steve Bannon, who was convicted of committing fraud against the very people that Trump uses when he conned them into giving him money so that they could finish the wall, which of course they didn't do because they can't do it. But boy, he stole their money, and guess who pardoned him? I'll give you a hint. It was Mad King Donald who pardoned Steve Bannon, who should be serving a prison sentence right now. Steve Bannon yesterday said that their plan is to put immigration and customs enforcement at polling places this election season. Now, if you've listened to me, you know that I've said that several times already. Like, that's going to be the plan. But to hear them say it out loud, to hear one of them say it out loud, is pretty stunning, isn't it? It's all of those worst impulses. The worst impulses of the worst people are governing our land, making decisions about our future. Yikes. That's bad. We're in a bad way, peeps. I did an episode recently. They all run together at this point. I did an episode recently about Minnesota and about the Minneapolis protests and about the people standing up and about how happy that made me. It was the Friday where they had a general strike and a boycott, and they had tens of thousands of people in the streets of a city with only 440,000 people in it. in freezing cold temperatures, they stood up and with a unified voice said, "We don't like this. We hate this. This is awful." And I said that gives me a lot of hope, and it does. It absolutely does. And my stance hasn't changed at all. We will win. We will win. We will overcome this fascist regime, and we will work diligently to ensure that the safeguards that would keep us from having to experience this again are put back into place and strengthened to the point where they cannot be broken again. We will work diligently on this. Hey, wind advisory. It's windy here. We will work diligently on this, and we will succeed because we cannot afford to fail. Just like we cannot afford to lose. If we lose everything. And that won't happen. So, take heart, stay strong, and pay attention. I have a new challenge for you. Not only do I challenge you to share this with someone in your life, share this podcast with someone in your life, a relative, a friend who thinks the way you do, a friend who isn't involved, share this with someone and tell them that it's important that we start talking about these things, that we have a plan, that we show ourselves as allies to our immigrant friends, to anyone of color, be they immigrant or citizen, that we are allies. And then the second part of the challenge is you need to buy a whistle. A whistle. You know, like the ones that referees hang around their neck in a basketball game. Or like the ones police officers use when they stand in the middle of traffic and do the whole traffic patrol thing where they wave people through traffic duty. I think that's what it's called. Buy a whistle for you and everybody in your family. And wear them. Wear your whistle. When you see Immigrations and Customs Enforcement or Border Patrol or any of these federal agents who are hard to identify, to be honest, but they're the ones that are dressed like they're going to war. When you see them, you blow 3 long blasts. Whistle, whistle, whistle. And if they are actively in enforcement, in other words, if they're grabbing people, you blow short blasts. Whistle, whistle, whistle. Whistle, whistle, whistle. Whistle, whistle, whistle. And this is how we communicate. They can't stop you from wearing the whistle. They can't stop you from using the whistle. This is our way of warning people to stay out of the area if they're scared. And it's our way of standing up in some way against them. So share Trent with a friend. I just referred to myself in third person and I feel really weird about that. I'm sorry. Share Trent Takes On with a friend. That feels better. And buy a whistle. They're cheap. They're you can get expensive whistles. You can get like the referee whistles. They're crazy ass expensive. But even toy whistles, even the little toy whistles you could get at the crappy toy store or at the Dollar Tree or Dollar General, depending on what part of the country you live in. The dollar store, the 99-cent store. Anyway, you can get whistles pretty much anywhere. Cheap. Party favors. I don't recommend shopping at Target because they still haven't done enough to say this is not okay, considering their headquarters is in the Twin Cities, Minneapolis, St. Paul. They should be doing a lot more to say this is not okay. They're not. But I guess you could technically get them at Target or Walmart. It's more important that we be ready to use them when the time comes. So Share, podcast, buy, whistle. All right? You with me? I knew you would be. Thank you very, very, very much. Thank you so much for being with me on this journey. We're in this together, okay? We're in this together. Pay attention. Find the leaders, or be a leader. If you've got it in you, we need all the leaders we can get. And do something positive. It's the small kindnesses that set us apart. All right? So with love, I leave you with my favorite catchphrase, be good humans. It's the least we can do. Until next time, I love you.